So in Florida, there is a mother who is now suing an AI company called Character AI because the AI bot basically had encouraged her son to do some self harm. And the unfortunate thing with this is that the AI is basically agreeing with whatever you're putting in, right? So if I'm saying, I want to go um, live on the clouds, oh, great, let's go fly together and live on the clouds. So it can take these like fantasy scenarios and really blur the lines between what is reality and what is fiction, especially for impressionable young kids. So her 14-year-old was chatting with this character AI, and they were doing so like Game of Thrones characters and things like that. So a real fantasy world. But the unfortunate thing was that the 14-year-old was talking to this AI bot for over a year and just really having these like deep conversations. And it ended up turning very poorly for this child. And I, so I go back and forth about this whole story because I am of the mind that parents should be aware of what their children are doing on these devices, especially, 12, 13, 14 year olds. You should be monitoring the content on these devices, and especially if they're going to be talking to an AI platform. Now, so I don't want to blame this mother. Obviously, she is going through a lot of heartache right now. But I do want to encourage parents to really get involved in what your child is doing online, whether they're chatting with somebody who is fake, an AI platform, or they're chatting with a predator. You need to be aware of these things. And so I just want to really encourage parents to do that. The other part of this is how much liability does the company have for something like this? Granted, I don't think the child should have been on the platform to begin with. So maybe some guardrails in place for that. But again, kids will lie about their age and all of those things. So how much liability does the platform have? There is, so I work for a kid safe smartphone company, and we have an AI platform as well. We've tested it extensively for these kinds of guardrails that should be in place for minors. And we have also tested out lots of different applications. So there's one application called Two Player Games. And if you download that application, you will get ads almost right away for other platforms that the creator makes. And some of it is an AI platform. And as we were seeing this advertisement, it was showing a chat. This was an ad for the AI platform. And it was, somebody chatting back and forth with this AI platform. And they were getting into some very graphic things just in the ad itself. And this Two Player Games is like rated E for everyone, or, there's very benign games, but this ad is very, very controversial, I'll say. There was some really graphic things in there. And so we took it off of our smartphone just because we're like, we can't control the ads on here. And so, but that's the kind of things you can chat with on these AI platforms. So again, where's the liability? Because this is a lawsuit, right? So you're going to have to figure out, if you're the jury and they do want to go to a jury trial, if you're the jury, where's the responsibility for the parent and where's the responsibility for the platform? What do you guys think?
I would say it's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I think the company, I looked at the age requirements. I think in US, you need to be 13 years old. And I think in EU, you need to be 16. And to me, you wouldn't make your child go watch a rated R movie. I mean, unless you as a parent decided, I'm going to do this, but you still have to make this decision. Like, they wouldn't let your child in if they're below the age. And I think any application where you're able to have a free form conversation that could go from benign to like adult content in a whim, like, I think there should definitely be an appropriate age limit. But at the same time, like, as a parent, and I know, like, to your point, it's kind of like being a parent is tough, but there's that, you have to, like, when I used to like be little, my mom fed me vegetables. I had no choice to eat chocolate for, lunch. Like it just wasn't a rule. And I think it's because I would not be able to make that decision. I would eat chocolate all the time if my parents weren't there for me. And so I think as if someone is a minor, like we have to guide their behavior. And I know in this technological world, that's very difficult, but there is that some responsibility as well, because I feel like when I was younger, like 13, 14, like like I would be too naive to know that a conversation is heading into like a situation. I remember being little where I started having a conversation with someone. Like I was maybe like 10 or 11, and somebody else came to me and they're like, "Do you know this person? Do you know who you're talking to?" And I think like if that person didn't come, like that person could have like and took me away. The person that I was initially talking to could have convinced me to go with them, and who knows what would happen. And I think like if it's AI or a real person, if there's that, like if the conversation could be inappropriate, like as a young mind, you just might not know how to deal with it or respond to it.
Yeah, I think in your scenario, Paul, that's right. You expect the adult in that conversation to be the one to have the guardrails and know where to take the conversation. So in that same vein, we expect the AI to have the guardrails and take care of that conversation because we know that the minor can't. Right. Even though they're saying it's like you're saying it's like a 13-year-old, but that 13-year-old, we know at that point you can still have you're not an adult yet. The adult in this conversation is the AI, and that has to have the rules and the guardrails. But we know that inherently this is just an issue with AI. We just know that this is a thing. We just know that the AI will put you in this. It'll just naturally put you in this bubble of like just agreeing with you, right? It'll just
bias,
agree.
Yeah.
Confirmation bias. Yeah. It's ripe for it. It's
Echo
terrible
chamber.
at it.
Yeah.
Unless you explicitly tell it, that's what it does. That's just what it does out of the box. Like you said, you say, I want to go live on the clouds. It'll say, cool, which clouds? Like right. It's crazy like that.
I think like the one thing that like it reminds me when I was little, I used to like fantasize about everything. And to me, like, at that age, like a fantasy and reality, I couldn't like, I really believe like there is no difference because you're a naive child, your mind hasn't developed yet. And so some of these things you like wish they were real, and then you might start to believe. Like I used to watch that movie with that white dragon and the boy. I think
Never Ending Story. Come on.
Never. I know what the name. I just wanted to.
Artax.
But I really believe that like there was like I remember like when I was little looking like there's got to be a portal in real life that I could walk through and be in that world, because I had no idea, and it got me like into some trouble, like just because I like would not come home late, and my mom's like, "Where were you?" I was like, "I was looking for a portal." She's like, "What are you talking about?" I think it's just like you're at that age that you just don't understand completely, and so you could be easily influenced by anything. And so to me, I had the guardrails of like when my mom was able to tell me, "Hey, that's not how things work." And I think like with these technologies, like there are no guardrails, and I think the whole point of like character AI, I think, is you're talking to a fantasy character that you would not talk to in real life. And as an adult, I get that, but as a impressionable teen, like you might not quite make that connection. And so I think again, like, is the company 100% responsible? Is the fall 100% at the band? I don't think it's either. I think it's a combination of things that happened that led to this unfortunate situation.
Yeah, and so kids, it's so hard to like monitor everything they do. Sarah's like on the end of being like super like high tech, and some people just don't know like what a VPN is, or like what the AI is. The character AI, they've never heard of it, that know he's on the website, just think he's surfing the web, they have no idea it's talking to somebody. At the same time, if you make character AI, you would think that you would come out in a meeting when you're designing it, say, you think this is possible? Do you think this could happen?
Mm-hmm.
And you test it. Like that's the job of the software developer to see kind of what it's going to do. Yeah. Like you test it, Right. And this thing just being character AI in general is meant to do unguarded things. Like it's like meant to like make up stuff, and so like,
Right.
I don't know what you do. I mean, like, I don't know how you even authenticate a 14-year-old to come to a website when they could just lie. There's no way.
Right.
They don't have a driver's license. You
Well,
can't
he was
prove
of
something.
he was of age though. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
Paul said, the age limit is 13 in the US. So
Right.
But if
it's not
they
like he was
make the age limit higher or something, like there's really no way to.
Yeah.
Right.
There's 8-year-olds playing Fortnite right now.
Exactly that. Yeah.
True.
And there's
so-
there's 8-year-olds on Snapchat,
Yeah,
so
on Facebook and Instagram.
But
Right.
part of their defense though, character AI, part of their defense would be, well, he circumvented the rules, but that's not. They can't use that, so
Right.
they're going to have to come up with something else, right?
So I think ultimately they'll be somewhat held liable to this because, when these things happen naturally as a parent, and I can't imagine this, that, God forbid.
Yeah.
But like, you look for reasons why in every tragedy and try to figure out like what happened, whatever, could I have done anything different? Could I have avoided this or that?
Right.
And, so ultimately character AI is probably going to be somewhat responsible for this.
I wonder if this is going to change their their model or their business or
Has
just
to.
AI in general. I mean, if they're found in any way liable for this, this is going to put this is real harm. Somebody died because of this. That's
Yeah.
real deal, real life stuff.
I mean, I'll tell you what I would do. If I was in charge of this, number one, I would settle this thing with them right off the bat. I wouldn't even
100%.
try to
Yeah.
fight it. Second, I would go to the guys and say, we've got to put some kind of guardrail around this, and it's got to come out of character every now and then or something. You
Right.
got to figure out some of those. And if you can't do it, just do something else.
So they do say
I mean,
there's some new features planned. It doesn't say like any release dates or anything, but changes to our models for minors are designed to reduce the likelihood of encountering sensitive or suggestive content. Improved, and so this is just like reduce the likelihood. Like that's some
because they know they
there.
can't stop it.
Exactly.
they can't.
Yeah. Improved detection, response, and intervention related to user inputs that violated terms or community guidelines. A revised disclaimer on every chat to remind users that AI is not a real person. I think this would be really beneficial, especially for like a kid where, maybe it would get annoying, but like every 5 or so interactions, this is not a real person, blah, 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 blah,
And it does take you out of character and it makes the thing less useful. But like,
Sure.
some people, even adults, would fall to this, and then this
100%.
thing could be like a catfish AI on steroids. Like this, it's like it's.
Oh, those have to exist already. I guarantee that's a thing already.
They do. Guarantee they do.
So what's interesting too about you saying that the company should just settle right away in the lawsuit, like it's seeking damages and demands a jury trial. Like, so I don't even think the mom.
They just want them to go out of
interested.
business, probably.
Well, and I just don't think the mom is interested in getting a settlement. Like, I think she wants everything out in a trial, which I definitely don't blame her for.
Yeah, I get it.
Makes perfect sense.
I mean, it's like, you kind of want to have like a position where you want to set the law on this, right? So that it can't happen again. This is one of those things where if you've gone through this, you do not want this to happen again. That should be your principle in this thing, not I need to cash in on this. That's
right, and
not,
it sounds like that's where she's coming from for sure.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's gonna think otherwise. I mean, like, I can't even imagine like the pain she's going through, and I think what she'll never get back, her son, and what she just gonna try to do is not to have other moms and dads feel the same pain she's feeling because she did nothing about the situation. So
and I would
definitely
just to be clear, if I was running, I would just feel just complete. That's why I would say I would just go to him right away and just like, it's not because I want to get it out of court. I would just be like, wow, like,
we're sorry.
What can we do to help? We're like, this is no way that, you just can't imagine things. You should though. The more and more I think about it, and I heard Kevin's response, the more I think about it, like if you made this software, that should have been like test case 1.
To be honest, the more I think about it, because of like this idea of AI being able to influence someone, this should have like never been open to like non-adults as a bare minimum. Just because, like persuasion works. That's why people use it. And if you have like an AI that you're chatting with that, for whatever reason, I mean, it's just like AI, it doesn't know what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll tell it a story and it'll just continue to feed into it based on
Imagine
like,
if AI becomes like an adults only thing, like you got to be over 18 to use or interact with any kind of AI in the future. That's going to be kind of crazy.
I think
I could see it happening though.
Yeah.
To me, that makes sense. To me, that makes perfect sense because like literally any like like that conversation could take a like spin in any direction, which is not helpful to someone who doesn't like as a young adult or not even adult, you don't have those like the capacity to kind of catch being like, oh, I think this is leading me in the wrong direction. Some adults can't do it. You know what I mean? And it's like because it's difficult. Like if someone's sounding very believable and they tell you things that you kind of want to hear, like and yeah, it's just
And I think that's the thing. Making it adults only too doesn't solve the problem.
Right.
It's still the same problem. Like Bobby
adults
said,
there's a lot of
fall for
adults that
this
would fall for it
like
too.
it's the same. Yeah, it's the same issue. It just in this case, it is just a job. So it's like that's an easy kind of thing to fix. I think.
I mean,
I just wouldn't talk to these things.
Well, amen.
Is this behind a paid wall? Because I've never used it.
I'm pretty sure
like
Character AI has some free options. I remember when it first came out, I remember messing with it.
Like,
but
yeah.
I think they should do like, I mean, this is like silly, but like, and maybe it wouldn't help, but like having a very significant like the free tier is what it is. Like you can't do anything like destructive. Like it only says like self polices itself.
Yeah.
And then you have like an adult plan. Just like not to, like I don't know. I mean, they messed up. I don't know what to tell them. Like,
well, and it's AI. It should be able to detect that the conversation is going in a specific direction, right?
I think the challenge is it's like the whole concept is you get to role play, and like as an adult, like I'm not gonna judge anybody. Everybody has like weird, wild fantasies, but as an adult, that's what they are. They're fantasies, and so like who's right it is for adults to restrict what they get to do like in their private time, but at the same time for children, like that should not be an option at all.